How dare I wear a Mario hat in a Sega video? Man, I'm probably going to trigger a lot of Sega fanboys. I'm not going to be DSP gaming with that Sonic the Hedge Hog hat on, alright? That's just way too cringe for me, alright? There's a line of cringe and DSP's all the way over here, okay? No DSP gaming for me. It's wintertime, ladies and gentlemen. There comes a magical time in the season where people are going to want to start buying gifts for other people, like plug-and-play systems. Oh boy, oh god, please no. Today, I'm doing a video over this bad boy. You might look at this and say, wow, that looks actually pretty cool, man. Yeah, this is a precursor to what we would look at today as Raspberry Pis or themed Raspberry Pi builds. This is an emulation station, but it only emulates 6 games, and believe it or not, it does it running them on batteries. This actually works, and it works quite well. There's just one small, tiny little problem with it, and I'll get to that towards the end of the video. So the fact that this even has 6 games on it is pretty amazing. My only question to Radica here, who acquired the license to do this, is why didn't you just acquire the license for all the Sonic games from the Genesis and say it was a Sonic collection? Maybe perhaps they got the license and bought a few of the games, and Sonic the Hedge Hog was the most expensive, so they couldn't really afford the rest of them, and they decided to just buy 5 other random games and put them on here. And I'll explain why that's a little bit of an issue as we get into the video. The system itself does work very well for them. This is a Sega Genesis controller. It feels like a Sega Genesis controller, so it's not really a bad thing at all. This would substitute a Sega Genesis controller any day of the week. So if you were really interested in playing Sega games and you just wanted a taste of it, this might be a system you would consider picking up. In comparison, though, to other clone consoles, we have this beautiful thing. You guys remember this? This was Donkey Kong 99. You guys remember that? Yeah, it's Donkey Kong 99 was on this. This doesn't run Sega games properly. This clone console of a clone console came out, I want to say around 10 to 15 years after this. This runs them properly, this does not. So whenever you do buy these things, even if you are buying them secondhand, make sure to go online and read a review, watch a review, somehow, some way, shape, or form, and make sure the games actually run at their proper speed. The next thing you're going to want to do is make sure that they come with 3 cords, and not just these 2. See, we have video and then audio. And when the audio's in mono only, that's pretty crappy, because the Genesis did support stereo. There was a finicky, strange way of doing it, but you could do it. The console itself looks like an older version of a Genesis, specifically a Model 2, so that's cool. It has a wired AV out, and the cord is wired too. There is no 2-player, unfortunately, and there are games on here that would be good for 2 players, so that's, again, a very strange thing that they did with this specific console. It is labeled Sega Genesis, so it looks nice, and it does have the 8-way D-pad and 3 buttons. It has a menu button and a start button, so this is basically all you get. Power button, runs off batteries, but there is support for a jack in the back, so if you do actually want to play through the games, you can. When you're buying these clone consoles, you know, here's a Pac-Man I got at Goodwill. Again, I don't buy these things new. Do not pay $20 for these, okay? This is just Pac-Man. This doesn't even have 6 games on it, or 6 variations of Pac-Man. This is just Pac-Man. If you're buying these clone consoles, why wouldn't you just buy one of these right here? Yeah, this is a PSP I got for $30 at Goodwill. You can hack this up, and you can emulate every Sega Genesis game. Why wouldn't you just get a USB controller? Look, you plug this into your computer. You don't even have to buy extra hardware. This is what, $5? And you got a controller, and now you can play basically any Sega Genesis with an emulator and a ROM. And it's 6 buttons. The point being with these clone consoles is it's quick, fun, and easy to get into. A lot of grandmothers, a lot of soccer moms, a lot of absent fathers, absent-minded parents, aunts and uncles, they buy these things for Christmas, and they're not good. There is no reason to get these things other than looking at them obscurely. which is what we're about to do right now. So join me in the basement, and we're going to take a look at this clone console and see if it's actually worth any type of money, even a couple dollars at Goodwill. It takes me back a day looking at this. The menu itself is pretty basic. It shows you all 6 games that you get to play. And for whatever reason, it says they're arcade legends, but I don't believe all of these games are the arcade versions of their ports. They're pretty much just Genesis ports. Starting off with Sonic here, it's a decent port, even if it's from the Genesis. This is from 1991, so please keep that in mind. This is running on some very, very basic hardware. Remember, the size of this Genesis is very, very, very small. So it always makes me wonder how a game like Sonic can get this right, and yet other games, for whatever reason, seem to not be able to do that. But this game console, this clone console, it seems to do it just right, and it emulates it perfectly, so there's no complaints here, except for something later. On to Golden Axe, and again, the emulation is really spot on here. It makes me think that perhaps this isn't just emulation, and actually this is specific hardware engineered to run these Genesis titles in a very specific variant way, because it runs it beautifully, perfectly, at perfect speed. And the colors are spot on once again, which is a big issue with a lot of these clone consoles. A lot of colors, they just don't match up, or the speed's off, or just they don't feel right, you know? And that's a big reason why you would buy these clone consoles, to play these games like you did back in the day without having to buy the original hardware. And being taken back a day is always fun. It's a great trip to nostalgia. Moving on, we're going to check out Dr.Robotnics' Mean Bean Machine. Now, this is a very strange puzzle game. Again, you know, it would be great if you had a second controller, because then you could, again, play games like this and Golden Axe with a second player. This is a plug-and-play system, so it would be really nice to be able to take this over to your friends. And its size is incredibly small, making it very easy and versatile, and it's battery operated. Look out, Nintendo Switch. Anyways, with that joke aside, Kid Chameleon is another game. Before Sonic the Hedgehog was the mascot, the big hitter mascot for Sega Genesis, Kid Chameleon was kind of a big game. It's a decent platformer. It's no Mario, there's no questioning that. But nevertheless, it's a fun game to play through. And again, the colors match up pretty decently. It works very well, and it works great on this sharp flat screen TV, this miniature flat screen. This is a 3x4 display, so once again, if you're going to be getting any of these clone consoles, be sure that they are going to display properly in 360p. Otherwise, you know, if you try to hook them up to a widescreen, you're going to have those black bars, those borders. So you might want to get yourself a TV like this at Goodwill, which again, I found for around $10. So it worked out great for me. This was the final game. This is a game based off of Mappy. I think this is Flappy. And this is a game where you just collect up birds and deposit them while avoiding cats. There's nothing special to this game. So yeah, pretty decent games, and they all work decently well, with one exception. What I'm about to explain to you and show you and let you listen to is literally going to destroy your ears. So you've been warned right now to watch your speakers. There is one serious problem with all of these consoles, and usually this is the biggest one. So, without further ado, here we go. Oh god. Oh god, it's so bad. Oh god. Oh man. Oh. It's literally hurting my ears. Oh man. Jesus, why? Why is this so bad? Why is the song so bad? So what's the final verdict here? Well, put simply, these clone consoles, besides something silly and obscure to look at, I wouldn't even give them to a child, honestly, nowadays. I mean, look man, you can get online and get a PSP for significantly cheaper, and you can also find cords that would hook up to your TV as well, so you can create essentially a Raspberry Pi with much less work involved in programming and things of that nature. With a few clicks, you could have every game here with way better sound quality and control and a lot more memory. And you could probably also put an SNES emulator on here, an NES emulator on here, and basically have 20 years worth of games in a handheld form, and you could plug it into your TV. The point being is, why would you ever buy one of these? And the answer is just for an obscure look back. If you don't care about sound or sound effects, the games do run effectively. There's no questioning that. The speed works really great, and it's great to take with you because it's very tiny and small if you have a TV where you're going. But again, you really have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, that's right. Be deaf to appreciate this game console because it sounds so freaking bad. And I assure you, there are plenty of other clone consoles out there that they just have these two. They don't do stereo. They don't handle the sound right. But in the end, in the long run, you probably wouldn't use it for more than a couple days. Maybe a week or two if you actually dedicated yourself to playing and beating the games. And I personally don't think that it's worth it. Proudly presenting 16-bit power. Too bad they couldn't advertise the music and the sound as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a big thumbs up. And if you didn't, leave me a thumbs down and let me know what I can do better in the future. I've been your host, Protomario, and I'm signing out, and I hope none of you get any of these clone consoles as a present for Christmas. Unless you really want it, that is. But do yourself a favor. Don't subject yourself to this.